get to know. Maria, how serious are you about your IP?
You know, I think it depends on the industry. So for us, we're in educational gaming and software, and so there's not a lot of patents. A lot of it is kind of copyright stuff in terms of the gaming part, because especially you look at games, right? Look at any app store, right? Something comes out and 2 weeks later, there's a rip-off version of it coming out, right? And so a lot of it is about kind of, I would say, quality of the product less than some of the content. I mean, we do have some AI elements and things built in, but it doesn't, for us, make sense to go out and get a patent. Because really in ed tech and schools, and when you're looking at for marketing, it's like schools don't really care. You know, if I'm going into an elementary school, they're like, do you have a patent? They don't really care. They're really obsessed with data and efficacy research and that kind of stuff. So for us, it hasn't really made sense. We've had a couple of things that we thought, should we look into it? And it just, when you look at bandwidth as a small company, didn't make sense to us for something like that. But I do think, you know, for us, when I look at our IP, I look at, like I said, a lot of the copyright things, right? The things that are very much ours and someone can't go and take, or if they do, it's very clear, hey, isn't that like that game from 7th Generation Games, which is what you're hoping for and working towards. So for us, it hasn't been so much of a thing. And I always just think about it from our software is, you know, especially because there is a lot of copying in education and gaming both. If we just do a better job, then I'm not concerned.
So, but so a follow-up question is that if you do a better job and the ripoff will come in about 2 weeks, how will you stop that?
Well, so for educational games especially, it's really hard to do good educational games, right? That's why you don't see that many. There's not a clear market leader. If you say, who's the best educational gaming company, there's not really someone that jumps to mind, right? And it's because a lot of the things take a lot of time. It's really easy to do games. We talk about like shooting and, right? Like shoot the right answer, but that doesn't really teach you anything, right? You don't learn like, you know, you get it wrong, you just shoot the next one, you get it wrong. So to build in things like embedded education and resources that steer you right when things are wrong and all of these things, like the parts that we do take a lot of time and a lot of money, which is where the SBI awards and our investors have come in. And so those are the things that are hard to rip off, right? So if I'm going to do, say, a Candy Crush ripoff, you know, a puzzle type game, something like that, you can do that. But if you want to build a game that, you know, has every audio and video and text function play and be fully bilingual on every single screen, and that routes wrong answers to learning modules that teach those concepts and then routes you back into the game and has all of that similar in art and storyline and concept, that's the part that takes a really long time. So I think it's not a matter of, and that's when one of the questions that you get from investors a lot too is, well, what if someone came in and said they want to do this tomorrow, right? What would you do? What would keep? And I said, well, it would take them probably a year and a half to get up to speed to get to the first one that we did. And by then we're, you know, 6 years in, and now we're another year and a half ahead of them. And then the other thing that we hear a lot is, well, what if somebody, you know, an industry leader came in and wanted to do this? What would stop them from taking over? And I say, well, it would be a lot more cost effective for them to just buy us. So I think that's where it comes in, is you look at, you know, even if it's not a strict IP, you know, this is my thing that I've patented or these kind of things, what is it that stops other people from coming into the market and pushing you aside? And those are the two things that we talk about.
Excellent, wonderful. That's a great piece of advice, Maria. Adding my 2 cents to it, I was in Motorola in Chicago for 4 years as an in-house patent counsel. What I learned there was this: if you are able to add incremental invention, and that incremental feature in the software, in the video game, in the app, if that incremental feature is new and non-obvious, you qualify for a patent. I repeat, if you are just new and non-obvious, your feature is new and non-obvious, you qualify for a patent. In the video game industry also, if you're making apps or a video game, if you're adding a feature in the game which is new and non-obvious, that can qualify for a patent. So although these schools which you sell to perhaps do not care about whether you're patented it or not, but tomorrow it definitely going to help you when you sell out, when you